Hello everyone. Welcome to a Thursday night live YouTube video, although I'm not actually live. I'm currently at my granddaughter's volleyball game, so I thought I would pre-record this video so that you would have the content. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the Christmas Friends Cling stamp set. This is an 8-piece stamp set. Can be bundled with the Christmas Friends dies, and when you do that and use this bundle code 164088, you save 10% over the 2-piece combined prices when you buy them separately. Okay, so we've got that, and then we're also going to be pulling in the Merriest Trees stamp set and the coordinating dies. These are not sold as a bundle. You must purchase the items individually, and you might already have them in your stash because this was in last year's holiday catalog, so hopefully you do. And then I've used from the Chain Autumn Leaves dies, I've used this label die, but of course you could use any label die that will fit with the sentiment that you already have on hand. Okay, and the last thing I'm using is the Garden Meadow dies, and we're going to be using this particular die out of those Garden Meadow dies. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We have a card base of Petal Pink, and this is a 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the center at 4 1/4. So that's our card base, and this is Petal Pink again. Excuse me. And then I've taken a piece of the Country Woods Designer Series paper. See if I have that handy. I don't. I think I put it away. The Country Woods Designer Series paper is a pack of paper that has a bunch of wood designs in it, and we're going to be using this piece, and I have already cut that piece with the Garden Meadow die. So I took a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece, and I put this die right in the center of my Designer Series paper, and then I ran it through the die cut machine. And this is what I have left. Okay, and then we also have a piece of the Snowy Scenes Designer Series paper that is from the Holiday Mini Catalog. And let me grab that so you can see those patterns of this little swatch book. So you have the penguins, and then on the back some pumpkin pie trees. You've got some snowman scenes. These are snow globes, and then the piece that we're using is on the back of those globes. We've got a pool party and garden green snowflake, again with some snow globes on the back. And anyway, that is the paper pack, and you get 12 sheets, 6 doubles, 2 of each of 6 double-sided designs. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add this Country Woods piece to our Snowy Scenes piece, and we don't need to wait on that. We're just going to go ahead and put that down. Let me use a little bit of liquid glue here. Get this moving. And we'll just put some liquid glue all the way around. I'm not putting on a lot because I don't want my paper to ripple. And this is very good glue, so you don't need to do that. Okay. And I did cut my Designer Series paper just a tiny bit smaller than the 4 by 5 1/4, just so I didn't have to worry so much about lining it up and then having the back piece sticking out from the sides. Okay, so we've got that. And we can put this on our card design. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll just add this to our card, making sure we've got it in the right direction. And we're just going to add this in just like that. Okay, so we've got that ready. We're going to set this aside because we're not going to need this for a little bit. So let's set it aside so hopefully I can find it later. Actually, let's go ahead and put it in my, I'm going to put it in my little basket here. I'll pull out these pieces that we need. And I'll put this, not in my basket, in my envelope. Okay, so we've got a piece of the red and green, well, it's called Festive Glimmer paper. And this is in the mini catalog, and you get 2 sheets each of 3 colors. So there's Granny Apple Green, Cherry Cobbler, and Garden Green, and I've taken a piece of the Garden Green. We also need a very small piece of the Cherry Cobbler from this. But we're going to start here, and we're actually going to emboss on this glimmer paper. I saw the CEO, Sarah Douglas, do this the other day with a different stamp set, and I thought, oh, I want to try that with my Merriest Trees and see how that looks. So we're going to get out some Versamark, and we're going to need some white embossing powder. So we're going to bring in our Embossing Additions tray. Now with this paper, I did not use my embossing buddy. Sarah said that we did not need to do that, and that came from her concept artist. So I'm going to take some Versamark ink, and I'm going to ink up this tree from the Merriest Trees. Okay, get that nice and inky with the Versamark. And then I'm going to try really hard to center this up, because this stamp is a little bit smaller than the die that we're going to use to cut it out. So we're going to give that a nice good press and let that really soak in there. And then we're going to lift that up, bring in our Wow Opaque Bright White embossing powder, and I'm just going to pour that on. Okay, and we'll get that. Okay, it looks like we have really good coverage, so let's go ahead and give that a flick and get any excess off. And you can see that there isn't a bunch of white stuck to any of that other than where we want it to stick. So I thought that was very interesting that the embossing buddy did not need to be used with this particular technique. So let's go ahead, we'll get these out of the way. So we're done with those. And let's bring in our heat tool. Okay, so I'm going to turn that on. Heat it up for just a second. And then if you watch me for any length of time, I like to heat up the back of my paper first, which helps with the warpage. And then we're just going to heat set that until it changes color and it gets bright white. And that's going to mount right on there. Okay, I'm going to go back to the back again just to help with that warpage. Okay. will check this out to make sure that we don't have any. I'm going to melt a little bit more down here on the bottom. It's because I think I missed it. I think we're all good. Okay. Yep, we're all good. So I'm going to go ahead while this paper is warm. I'm going to give it a good burnish because I need this to stay rather flat to go through my embossing machine. Okay, so let's pull the die that we need for that off of the Merriest Trees. We're going to take this large die and we're going to put this on here. And because this is glimmer paper, I can't really tape it down. And that's why I wanted that to lay relatively flat. So we're going to bring in the mini machine. And this just fits through the mini machine. So we're going to put this on here. Line this up how we want. Just like that, I think. And then I'm going to put this top pad over. Hold that sandwich all in there, nice and tight. And then we'll roll that through. And once the tip of it catches in the machine, then I don't need to worry about it moving anymore. Okay. So now we have this beautiful, glimmery, snowy tree. Okay. So if you didn't know that you could emboss on the glimmer paper, now you do. And you know how beautiful it looks. Okay, so let's go ahead, move these out of our way. We've got this piece. Let's grab some scrap white cardstock and we'll stamp our images. So we've got the owl and the singing mouse from the Christmas Friends. And we're going to go ahead and give these a stamp. I always like to hold my stamp there for just a minute so that the ink settles in. And we'll go this way. Okay, so now we have a nice crisp image and we can color these up. Okay, the one of the things that I really like about this particular set is you do not have a ton of coloring, especially with these two little critters. So let's bring in our Stampin' Blends markers. This is what I've got. Okay. So I'm going to start with, well, let me show you first the blends that we're using. Okay. So we have a light smoky slate, light petal pink, a light wild wheat, the Rio red combo, dark granny apple green combo, and the crumb cake combo, and a color lift in case I need it. Okay, so let's start with the dark real red. And I'm going to take the dark real red and go on this little Christmas hat here. And where the artist has put in their lines, I'm going to put some dark red in there, and then I'm going to go around the floof. Okay, and right there, where there would be a shadow. Okay, then we're going to take the light real red, and we're going to fill that in. Okay. So there's his Santa hat. Now for his beak, we're going to take some light petal pink. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on. And then I'll take the light smoky slate and I'm just going to tap some color in. Literally tapping where the artist lines are here. Not really coloring, dotting, going along the lines here that the artist drew for the feathers. Okay, and then I'll put in a little bit in those feathers there. Go again along the belly where the artist has the lines. Just tapping that in. I do not want it to be solid. That's not the look I was going for. Just putting in a little bit of gray in those wings. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of gray for the shadow on the tail feathers. Okay, and then I'll fill in the feet. And that's how quick he is to color. He is finished for my purposes. Now for this little guy, we're going to go back to the light petal pink. And his whole face there is going to be petal pink. And I'm going to put a little bit in his ears. And then I'm going to take my light wild wheat. And do my bell. Such a small area, I chose not to worry about shading. And with this little bow here, I'm just going to put in the tiniest bit of dark, real red. And then finish it off on the outer parts with the light. I've got Granny Apple Green for the book. So I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm going to do the spine and around the paws. And then I'm going to go back with the light Granny Apple Green and fill that in. Now, do you need to do all this shading? No, you can simply grab one of your markers and color it and not worry about shading at all. So for the rest of the mouse now, we're going to use our crumb cake. So I'm going to start with dark. And again, I'm going to tap on the artist lines. Just putting those down. Just little taps here and there. Not trying to totally fill it in. Just want a little definition, and then I'm going to put a little bit of shadow at the feet where the body comes together. And right here by the book and his arm. And right there, like so. And then I'm going to go to my light crumb cake, and I'm going to finish coloring that in with little swirls to blend the light and the dark together. Okay, and I'm going right over the top of that dark to move that color and blend it well. Okay, almost finished. It's just a little thing here. Okay, so now our mouse is finished and the coloring is, oh, no he isn't. Hang on, we got to go back. I forgot his tail. There's some artist lines on the tail here, so I'm just going to dot in some color where those artist lines are. And with the light crumb cake, I'm going to finish, but I'm going to dot it. This is so tiny that if you really try to color it, you will be outside the lines. Okay, so there are our little critters. And we're going to finish this off. We're going to take some Wink of Stella. And I'm going to put some on the hat in the red area. And then I'm going to put some on the bell. Okay? And that is that. Now, there are dies for these. So you just pop those dies on and run those through your die cutting machine. And through the magic of television, I've already done that. So here they are. So let's set those aside with our tree. Okay. And then you'll need a piece of scrap petal pink cardstock, and you'll stamp the sentiment, "I will be thinking of you this season," in real red on the petal pink, and then cut that out with the coordinating die. And this die again is from the Autumn Leaves dies, but of course you could use whatever you already have on hand to cut out that sentiment. This just happened to be what I had that worked well. Okay, so we've got a little bit of die cutting. A little more that needs to be done. So we have a piece of cherry cobbler. That's that glimmer paper from the festive. And I've taken the garland image from the Merriest Trees. I put adhesive on the back and I've cut that out. So this is ready to go and use. And from the what's it called? The brushed gold and silver paper that we have. I took a very small scrap of that, put adhesive on the back of it, and again, I've cut that out and it's ready to go. I just wanted to save some time. And then you've got a piece of glimmer paper, and this one is from the, what's it called? Let's see. Berry, Olive, and Whites. A Berry Burst Old Olive and White glimmer paper. And again, you get 2 sheets of each of those 3 colors. So I've taken the solid star from the Merriest Trees, and I've cut that out in the white glimmer paper. Okay, so that should be our pieces. Let's go ahead and start assembling. So we're going to take our little tree here, and I want this to lay a little bit flatter, so I'm just going to take my bone folder to it. And then I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to start at the bottom of my tree. And I'm going to take the long garland, and I'm just going to pop this up and pull this off. Now remember, it has adhesive on the back. So I'm going to lay that down here. And because I have that adhesive on there, I don't have to worry about it sticking. So we've got that. Now you could work from the top down. I prefer to work from the bottom up. I find it easier for myself to put on the top garland because each row gets shorter as they go. So I'm just gonna line these up. Put that down. Then we'll grab another garland. And what I'm trying to do is get between the adhesive sheet and the glimmer paper, just so I can just lift that right off easily. And then we're going to go like so. We've got 2 more. So we'll line this up. That did not pull all the way. Okay. The first part of the adhesive came off, and then this adhesive paper does have splits in it. So I hit one of those splits apparently. And now I'll just pull that. Come on, pop up there. Just like so. Get the rest of that off. Put that on there. Okay, and finally, we can put the top garland on. I can get it to pick up there. Uh-oh, there it is, right there. Okay. So now we're going to take this and we'll put it up here like so. Okay. So there we are. And I have this piece left for another garland. And I have found if you alternate them, then you can really save on your glimmer paper. Okay, just a little tip for that. And then I'm going to take and lay this down, and I'm going to give this a good burnish just to adhere that garland to our tree solidly. Okay, next, let's take our star. And remember, I have adhesive backing on the back of this. So I'm going to take this backing off and hopefully leave behind all those other little pieces, which that worked perfectly. And then we'll adhere this star to the glimmer paper on top of that star there. Just going to line that up. And then I'll flip that over. And this, by doing this, that gold over that white glimmer, it looks like stained glass. I hope you can see that. Okay, so these are going to go here. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way. We're ready to start putting this all together on our card. So let's bring back in that card. Got our base here. And let's make sure we don't lose our star. We're going to put this down, and I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal. Or no, I'm not. Almost forgot what I was doing here. I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to use these side pieces for the bottom here, just to run that all the way across the bottom. And then we've got some more we can scatter throughout here, just to give this a good solid base. Okay. And I'm also going to put a little, just a little piece up there at the top. So let's go ahead and cut us a small piece. Just want to support that right there. But I want it to stick. There we go. Let's go ahead and remove our backings. Just going to press in the center and pop those up. And then I can grab the edges. Oh, I already got that one off. Can't take off what you already have off. Okay, then we'll line this up. Put it in here about like this. And then we're going to take our owl and our little mouse. And I'm going to put some mini dimensionals at the very bottom of both of these. So I'm going to put one on the owl's feet, on each of the owl's feet here. And one on each of the mouses, whatever. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in some glue dots. And I'm going to roll these up into a little log. And I'm going to stick one on the mouse's head. That'll give it just a little bit of dimension away from the tree. And, oh, I think I need a little, hang on, I think I need a little mini dimensional right here. We'll see how this works out, but I'm pretty sure that's what I need to do. Okay, so we're going to put our owl on first. So let's remove those backings. And let's set that down about right here. I'm not going to push it yet. I'm just going to drop it in there. I'm going to lift these up. And I'm going to grab another mini for the tail right here. So I'm pretty, or maybe, hang on. Let me put it on this farthest section right there. I think that's where it needs to go. We'll find out here in just a minute if we did it right or not. And then we're going to put this out kind of like this. There we go. Yep. Okay. So I'm happy with that placement. So now I can go ahead and put those, give them a good press. And we're going to take a mini dimensional and put on our star. And put that right in the center. Pop that up with my tweezers. And then we'll put our star right up here on our tree, like so. Okay, so far that's pretty nice, I think. All right, so now to finish this off, we're going to take our sentiment, and I'm going to get some dimensionals here. Remember, we put our tree up on dimensionals, so in order to make things the same height, we need to pop them up so they'll be even. Now again, I'm going to roll a glue dot, and I'm going to put it at the far left of the sentiment. Remove that backing, and then we'll bring this down. And I'm going to line it up alongside that wood edge. That glue dot lets it stick to the glimmer paper. Got the dimensionals to hold it to the card. And we are almost finished. So let's go ahead for the inside of our card. I took a sentiment from Greetings of the Season. This one here, this is an online exclusive, but of course you could use whatever you have on hand. You could use from the Merriest Trees, Hoping Your Home is Filled with the Spirit of the Season, and just use this set. But I wanted to do this, and then I also took a very tiny strip, about 1/4 to 3/8 inch wide. It's about, it's between 1/4 and 3/8. And cut that so that it would give just a little bit of interest to the inside panel. We're going to add that on. Okay, let's put the finishing touches on this card. And that is some twine. We're going to take the real red and white baker's twine. This is due back in the online store, October 21st at the moment. And I'm just going to use my bow jig and wrap this 3 times so that I get kind of a substantial bow. I never like to use baker's twine by itself, just one thread. I always like to wrap it at least twice. So we'll give that a knot and trim that off. And we'll grab that. And then we're going to take another glue dot. And again, I'm going to roll that into a log. Take your pick tool. And I'm going to put it right down here on the petal pink below that sentiment. And add that to my card. And that will ensure that that knot is not any higher than my dimensional height. So we've got that. I'm going to go ahead and cut these just a tiny bit shorter. There we go. And for the final embellishment here, we're going to take the white loose snowflakes. Now you could use the peppermints, but I thought this was perfect with the snowflake in the background. But in order to get these to stick to the glimmer paper, I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to cut a glue dot in half with my scissors. Okay. And that one kind of decided to grab onto my scissors. So I'm going to take that and I want it to be in a ball. Okay. And first of all, I need to decide where I want my snowflakes. So let's take our take your pick tool. We're going to put one right up here. And we'll put another one over here. And then a third one down here. So it looks like, and actually, let me see if I can move my mouse down a bit here. If you twist gently, you can get those off without ripping anything. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let's move that down. I'm going to have to move this just a bit closer to my tree. There we go. So it doesn't show. It kind of messed up its edge and it's frayed. There we go. Okay, so that's how we're going to set those. So let's take your pick tool. I'm going to put down a glue dot. And then I'm going to stick my snowflake down. I'm going to get another half of that glue dot, which is down here. And I'm going to roll that up with my take your pick. And then I'm going to pick up my snowflake and put that back down where I want that snowflake. And then we'll set that back down. Okay. And one more time, let's get another half of a glue dot. Okay, well that one decided it wanted to be a full glue dot. Let's see how that works out for me. It's going to be a bit big, I think. And I want to put it between these. Yeah, that's going to be too big. Okay. Stuck to my fingernail. Let's get our fingernails out of the way. Cut that. And there we go. Take this, roll it up in a little ball. Move that out of the way. And let's go ahead and take that off. And put down our, oh, I lost my snowflake. Okay, we'll grab another one. and put it right there. And then I like to go back and take the cap and give those a good press, just to make sure that they stick into that glue dot. And there is our card for tonight. I hope you like that. Here is the matching envelope. Again, I've taken that owl, and then on the back I took a piece of that paper and I used Love and Joy from the Merriest Trees. And there you have it. Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Good night.